Welcome back to the Burning Hammer podcast. I'm Mark Izzo, joined by Dylan O'Brien, and we are your hosts. We are coming fresh off of WWE Money in the Bank, and we will be giving you our review of every match on the card because it's gotten not a great reaction, I feel like, at least on the people that have been commenting on our one post on our socials. A lot of people were hating on Money in the Bank.
Yeah, getting a lot of negative response, it seems.
I thought it was pretty solid overall, like as a show.
Yeah, I think it was solid overall. I think it lacked in parts. Sorry, guys. My mic stands in a weird position. I think it might have lacked a little bit overall. But I think it was a solid show. I think there was it lacked in some big takeaways. I mean, one of the biggest ones, obviously, to get right into it. We kicked off the night, and we had the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, and we were talking about it during the match. It was a bit sloppy. There was a lot of, but nonetheless, it's a ladder match, and there were some brutal spots. We both gave MVP of the match to Andrade. I don't know. I didn't see a lot of people talking about like who their MVP of the match was, so I don't know if people agree or not. But I was really a fan of Andrade in that match. A few of the different spots that he delivered, but also took were very cool. And pretty brutal. His back was like messed up pretty quickly into that.
His back got rocked early.
That like inverted Spanish fly thing they hit was like insane. And then didn't he hit? Yeah, he hit the sunset flip power bomb onto the ladder, which was just money. Like he literally could not have hit that more perfectly. It was on the money. So, but it led to Drew McIntyre getting the victory, winning the Money in the Bank briefcase, like a lot of people in our comments thought was going to happen. And, hats off to them. I started to honestly get on board with it as well. A lot of people had swayed me. People in our comments, when they, a little bit of their explaining, I was like, I could see that happening. So people on Twitter doing a little bit of explaining, I said, that could make sense. I think for me personally, I didn't want to predict. I wasn't going to predict that to happen because I thought that kind of sucked. But we'll get into it. So Drew McIntyre wins, and then we're going to skip a match and just go to the world title match, and we'll go back to the Sami match, but just because it'll make it easier for us.
Yeah.
So then we go into the world title match, and we'll talk about the match as a whole, but Drew McIntyre attempts to cash in. He makes it a triple threat match similar to the way Seth Rollins did at WrestleMania with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. This was only the second time that ever happened. But CM Punk came again to spoil Drew McIntyre's victory. And yeah, it was pretty unfortunate, and who knows, 100%, nobody knows 100%. Nobody can know 100% what their thoughts were for that. I don't know if, what Triple H was thinking. Nobody knows for sure, why Triple H made the decision he did, because it is his decision for, creative stuff like that. But that was, I'd say, the biggest takeaway that people were disappointed with was Drew McIntyre won the Money in the Bank, cashed in about an hour later, and lost. And now we have to go a year again before we see the Money in the Bank briefcase. So that's what people are pretty upset about. What's your take on it, Mark? Because, like I said, we did have some people in our comments that did correctly predict this. They said Drew would win, and he would lose the cash in. So shout out to that guy in the comments. I'm sorry I forget your name right now, but I responded to him and I said that would be a waste. I didn't say that was wrong, like that it wouldn't happen, because once he said it, I was like, that honestly might happen, but it would be a waste, and it was, because now we don't have the Money in the Bank briefcase for that long. In my opinion, I know Mark, you'll probably get into your thoughts. Like, I know your justification of it a little bit was the fact that Gunther and Cody Gunther is most likely gonna win the title at SummerSlam, which I think we all agree on. And then Gunther and Cody aren't gonna lose those titles anytime soon, probably till at least Mania, and not to whoever's gonna be holding the Money in the Bank briefcase. So, I guess it more just they were, I guess, at a stalemate on who they could see taking a title off somebody in this situation. But that's why you have a year to cash in the briefcase. Like, you never know what's going to happen. And I understand, obviously it adds more heat to the feud, but I think there was plenty of heat in the feud already. Like, I don't think this needed this. Drew had already, Punk had already costed Drew the title twice. He's now done it 3 times. And Drew took Punk out in Chicago. Like, there was so much heat in this feud already. I just don't think it was 100% necessary. I think one of the main reasons I feel like they did it was to get Seth back involved in this feud. Because now I think we might end up getting a triple threat with Seth, Punk, and Drew.
We're definitely getting the triple threat at SummerSlam now.
Which you just could have done that. You could have figured that out without losing the cash in. I don't know. It just feels like I said on that comment in the reply to the person who correctly predicted it. I would just think it's a waste. Like, it's just a waste of the Money in the Bank briefcase. If this feud needed that heat, I'm all for sacrificing something to get, like, proper heat. You know what I mean? Like,
for the greater good.
Yeah. If say Punk was out from the time that I don't know, still since Mania or something, maybe it would have made more sense. But it
just feels it's weird because
it's just there's so much. It's like, just give us the match already, dude. Like, this is the 3rd time. Like, it's not really necessary anymore, dude. Yeah, but it's like, and I saw other people online were like, bro, you didn't listen. Punk said, as long as he's in WWE, Drew McIntyre won't be world champion or something. And I'm like,
people say that all the time.
All the time. Like, what are you talking about? It's not, they're like, you have to understand what he said. Like, I'm like, yeah, I guess, but, like, he didn't have to win Money in the Bank. Like, Drew just shouldn't have won.
He could have cost him it in the match also.
Yeah, that's what he should have done. He should have just cost Drew the Money in the Bank match.
So, the thing with Drew winning the Money in the Bank is I understand why they did it, because they wanted to, like, get it some more heat and more eyes on this feud and to get Seth involved. However, man, failed Money in the Bank cash-ins suck, huh?
Yeah, that's the other thing. They just suck. Like, failed cash-ins suck.
Especially night of.
They're not fun for anybody. Like, yeah, especially night of. Now we got to go a whole year.
Was this, do you know off the top of your head, was this the first failed night of cash-in?
Probably. I can't think of another one.
That's what makes it worse. Because then the excitement is always there for, like, the next year. We're like, oh, is this person going to cash in and now? Are they going to cash in a month from now? And that's the fun of it. It's the fun we're going to have with Tiffany Stratton winning the briefcase. But I don't know. I definitely don't know.
Like, people thought Damien was in a situation where he couldn't cash in. And then he did. Yeah. And it turned out pretty fine. Like, he's having a pretty solid run. So, like, I don't know. That's why you have a year. You have a year. And then and then close to a year from now, if you're still, like, then you do a failed cash in. But you don't have to do it right away. Like,
That's what I thought they were going to do with Priest, is wait like a full year, because I've been waiting for them to wait until
the next
following
Money in the
year's
Bank.
Money in the Bank, which they haven't done
that.
yet for some reason. I think it's a great idea to like you can kind of get like a Panics cash in, but like heading into this match, I thought they were in an interesting sort of spot with everything, because if whoever was going to win was either going to have to cash in prior to SummerSlam or not until after WrestleMania. That was kind of my whole thing was with that, because they weren't going to, because Gunther was winning at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. He's 100% winning. Cody's not losing that title until WrestleMania. No one's going to cash in on Gunther after he wins it, because they're going to give Gunther a long title run. So it's like, all right, you can wait until after next year's Mania for sure, but then I guess they didn't want to do that, or they couldn't think of something good, because you have to at least think somewhat that far ahead if you're with the Money in the Bank stuff. So I think their thought process was they didn't see any other option of the winners of a good time to cash in, and I think they thought the best scenario, the best thing they can come up with, was to have Drew win and the cash in failed on the same night. The thing with this whole like Drew and Punk situation is like, I don't know, you kind of start to side with Drew, right?
Yeah, dude, seriously. They're
but he's
making
like
Punk
supposed to be the heel in this feud.
They're making Punk super heel, dude.
Which, like, I guess you can argue that both are kind of just like tweeners at this point.
Yeah.
At least Punk is now sort of merging more into a tweener, but I mean, and I thought we should probably talk about the potential botch, the botch for the 3 count that wasn't a 3 count. A lot of speculation was going on about that. Was Priest supposed to kick out? Was Drew's music supposed to hit before the ref got to 3? Who knows? We don't have to like sit here and look that far into it. Like, that sort of stuff happens. Obviously, something went wrong, which is like whatever. It's fine. Not that big of a deal. Shit happens. But what did you think about that match before Drew tried to cash in? Because they were putting on a pretty good match.
No, I enjoyed it. Like, it was a good match. Seth's gear was fire. Seth had some heat. Seth is always going to bring the heat with that gear, man. But yeah, I enjoyed the match a lot. Yeah, that 3 count. Me and Mark said, I mean, Triple H didn't like 100% confirm that Priest was supposed to kick out, but it seems like that's kind of what he hinted toward. But we really thought it seemed like Drew's music was supposed to hit before that 3 count. And that would be what screwed it up. But who knows?
To
we'll
me,
never
that
know.
makes more sense.
Same.
Like,
I think he would have kicked out. I don't think Damien would just
kicked out, but I don't think they would have had Drew's music hit right after Priest
No,
kicked
exactly.
out,
like, I don't think he would just not kick out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, I just think, I don't know. I think a little more highly of Damien Priest in that. And I think I think a little more of him than, and I say that he totally could have made the mistake, and mistakes happen. It's like, you know what I mean? They wrestle every single, like, you're bound to make a ton of mistakes. And it was a really good match.
It's a great match.
But like I said, I really don't think that I don't think he was supposed to kick out. I think the music was supposed to hit. I don't think it was his fault.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was probably, at least, and we'll never know unless someone just comes straight out says it, which probably is unlikely. So at the end of the day, who cares? Shit happens. So yeah, it looks like we're heading towards a triple threat match at SummerSlam, which probably within the next week or two we'll sort of dish out our SummerSlam early match card predictions at some point. So be on the lookout for that. So the match before this was Sami Zayn defending his Intercontinental Championship against Bron Breakker. Dylan, lay down your thoughts for this match.
Yeah, so, bro, I guess people are getting mad at Sami winning a lot for some reason.
Really?
Seen a lot of dude. I'm seeing a lot of maybe not like mad, but people want Braun Breaker to win. It seemed like a lot of people wanted Braun Breaker. A lot of people don't love the fact that he just took like one haluva kick and then it took out Braun Breaker. But I mean, Sami is the Intercontinental Champion. He took it off of Gunther, who was the best Intercontinental Champion of all time. So, I mean, it shouldn't just take a random shot that Sami's just like, yeah, sure, you can have a match, and then Braun Breaker, who's hardly been up on the main roster, just takes it off him right away. Like, it's not... I understand you want to build Braun Breaker. It doesn't make Braun Breaker look weak. Say what you want. Sami Zayn should be viewed as a veteran who really knows what he's doing and can go toe-to-toe with anybody. You know what I mean? At this point, especially, and I think like this I think him winning that title at WrestleMania was that like kind of like nail in the coffin on that. Like he's not like it takes. He's earned that. He's earned that level of respect where it takes a little bit more to beat him. And people got to get used to that, man. Because
they're not going to have some rookie come up and beat Sami in his first match.
So,
like I know it's Braun
like
Breaker.
I said, I'm not seeing a ton. I wasn't seeing a ton of hate. It was more like memes and more like small stuff, which I do get, like little jokes here and there. But let's not remember. We're talking about Sami Zayn here. This guy is like the most over guy on the planet. If they wanted to make him the world champ tomorrow, I'm pretty sure everyone would be down. So,
well, that's the thing too. Is it's like, and we talked about it while we were watching it. But I was happy that they gave Bron a clean loss because they like hate giving wrestlers clean losses a ton nowadays. And the thing is like, yes, Sami's holding a mid card title, but like Sami's a main event like caliber wrestler. That's the other thing. Is like Sami's in that top tier of guys in the company. You know, he's not a mid-card wrestler. Like, if you had some mid-carder beat Bron like that, like, it's a different story. But, like, this is Sami Zayn. This is a veteran. This is a guy who just beat the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time on the biggest stage of them all. Like, he's not some schmuck. Like, put some respect on Sami Zayn's name. I thought this match was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
I thought it was pretty good. Again, it didn't like necessarily blow me away, but it was really solid, and it was a great match. And I don't think this is going to be the last we see of Bron and Sami Zayn. I think we'll probably get the rematch at SummerSlam, and all you Bron Breaker heads will probably get your big win for you at SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. But it's also like...
Mm-hmm. He a fan, he a fan, he a fan. He a 69 God.
Okay.
Hey, run for your life.
All right.
Sorry.
So, we had something pretty interesting happen after this match. I believe it was after this match, right?
All right, it was after the world title match, I think.
Okay. But we got the return of the champ, John Cena.
What up, Stu? Let's go to work.
Let's go to work. Cena came back, and it was sick.
We got John Cena is back, and the last time is now. What the fuck is going on? John Cena is retiring, which means our childhood is officially over, Mark. It's probably been over a little bit longer than that, but...
No. It's never over.
That is officially, I think, the nail in the coffin. It's the John Cena retirement, man. This is it's a very sad day, but it's also an incredible day because John Cena, of course, isn't just going out and waving goodbye. He's doing an entire farewell tour, all of 2025. He'll be there when Raw moves to Netflix. So I think that was probably my thoughts, or that was probably a part of the Netflix deal. that Netflix probably got Cena they were like, we want Cena for a year, or they were like, if Cena does one more run, it has to be on net. You know what I mean? Like that. That had
definitely
to be,
played a factor into it.
It definitely played a factor. There's no way. But yeah, so Cena announced he would be competing at the Royal Rumble for the last time. He'll be at Elimination Chamber for the last time. And in the press conference, he made it seem like he's going to be in the Elimination Chamber match. So who knows? And I think he probably, if he wants to be, dude, let him. He was in the first one. He's the first. Well, was he? No, he wasn't in the first one. But he was the first one to retain their title in the Elimination Chamber. That's what I meant to say. First champion to survive the Elimination Chamber. And then, of course, we got that famous cash-in directly after of Edge. Yeah, we're getting the Cena farewell tour, man. WrestleMania 41 going to be his last Mania. But that will not be his last match. The whole year, Mark. 30 to 40 dates he's going to be doing. I put this out on Twitter. I think since he's not hanging it up after WrestleMania, they should 100%, if he's going to go January to December, they should make the last pay-per-view of the year in Boston. Or the last premium live event of the year should definitely be in Boston, because that's Cena's hometown, and you saw how special it was for Edge when he had his last WWE match in his hometown of Toronto. And I think if it's not going to be at Mania, then that's the way to do it, is doing it in Cena's home city, close to where he is from, of course, West Newbury, Massachusetts. But yeah, man, 30 to 40 dates, Mark. He's going full time.
He's going wall to wall.
He's going wall to wall one last time. Pretty much full time. 30, 40 dates is crazy. You got to think there's going to be house shows on there.
They definitely have stuff. I'm trying to figure out what they're going to kind of do with a full year of John Cena, because they have stuff planned already for what he's going to do, who he's going to feud with, all of that good stuff. So
yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see what he's going to do for the whole year.
Yeah, it really is, because you can do a whole feud with him. You know what I mean? We can do multiple feuds.
You could do 2 or 3 feuds.
That's what I mean. Cena, we're truly going to get one last run. And, God, it's going to be awesome. And we got to get into it. We can't do this without talking about...
Of course.
Who is going to be... We're not going to do last opponent, but we're going to do last WrestleMania opponent. At WrestleMania 41, who is going to take on John Cena? The fact that it's not his final match, I think, opens the door a ton.
Sure does.
But I think the obvious choice immediately after it happened was all over Twitter, all over Instagram. Everybody's saying we need Randy Orton versus John Cena one last time. Biggest rivals of each other's career. What do you think of it, Mark?
That's the first match that came to my head, like many other wrestling fans around the world when we heard the news. Obviously, Randy Orton, probably John Cena's biggest feud of his career. If not him, maybe Edge. But, yeah,
yes.
To me, that's
it's probably Orton, considering Edge's early retirement. You'd think that after Edge retired, it was Cena that through that dark period, man. It was Cena and Orton pretty much passing the belt back and forth for a while.
Bald Randy, man.
Yeah, and
kicking heads left and right.
Yeah, so we gotta say, man, Randy's a great one, but honestly, more than Randy, I would love Cena versus CM Punk. At WrestleMania 41, just because specifically it's a match that we should have gotten at WrestleMania multiple times probably, and we didn't, and it's a match we were robbed of at WrestleMania. So I think Punk versus Cena, I don't think that one's as likely, because I think Punk is involved in other stories, and I think that those might end up playing all the way to Mania somehow. Next year, maybe we get back to like Drew and Punk for a title, or who knows what ends up happening. But Punk is another interesting option. One that I thought of that I mentioned to you yesterday, Mark, that I want to get your take on again was like a babyface Austin Theory. What if we get Austin Theory, approaching John, and he's like, "Look, before you told me that I wasn't ready, and I realize now that you were right. I wasn't ready. I didn't beat you clean, and I'm sorry, and I want to go up against you again, and I want to do it right. I want to beat you, and I need to know that I can beat you." I think that would be something that's really cool.
Yeah, they could definitely do that feud and that story really well with like a babyface Austin Theory this time around. I think it would be really compelling, and I think it would be a whole lot of fun. It definitely makes things more interesting if they don't do his final match at WrestleMania, which he said that, but things could also change a year from now. Like maybe there is a chance that Mania could be his last match. You never know how things line up, but you got to think that maybe Randy's his final match, and then that opens more doors, like you said, for who's going to be at WrestleMania.
Well,
Austin Theory's
unless he wants to put somebody over in his final match.
Yeah, but could also do that.
I think we're gonna get Cena versus Cody at some point. I think we might get that. That match screams like a Saudi show, doesn't it? Yeah. Cena versus Cody.
Yeah.
For the title or something. We'll probably get John Cena versus Logan Paul. That'll probably happen. Maybe at Mania. That might be a Mania match.
That's true. It's a match that doesn't need a title.
That's for sure. But I could also see like Logan Paul and Cena taking place in Saudi Arabia.
If Cena's available, they want Cena on that card.
Yeah.
And they obviously want Logan on that card, as we saw.
Yeah, so
a couple months ago.
I think there's a lot of fun options, man. Who else? KO has Cena has meant a lot to KO's WWE career. He beat Cena in his first ever match, and that was incredibly rare for Cena to be to put over a guy like that in their debut. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. It's just it's Cena. So for Owens to go over in that's one of my favorite matches ever. Still,
I love
Elimination Chamber KO versus John Cena. Any other thoughts on who might be his opponent?
Well, you said yesterday Seth Rollins.
Yeah, Seth is another really interesting option for Mania.
I think that maybe not at Mania, but I think another fun feud could be The Miz.
Yeah, get The Miz one last time.
Maybe R-Truth. Get a match.
I was gonna say I want some John Cena and R-Truth to go on a tag team run. Give me like a 3-month. Give me like a 3-month tag team run with Miz and with Cena and Truth.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun.
That would be pretty epic. We were there. We got to see him team up. at the Raw after Mania. So you never know.
Now let me ask you this: what are the chances we potentially get Edge? I don't know his contract situation in AEW, but maybe.
I think it's pretty unlikely, to be honest. I think
agree.
I think especially after this injury, I think Edge is probably getting ready to hang it up pretty soon, and I think after this AEW run, I think Edge is done. But never say never. Definitely never say never.
Yeah,
trying to think who else is.
Man.
There's a ton of fun options. Bron Breakker feels like a feud that you could do.
Put over Bron
Cena.
Breakker.
Yeah. There's so much you could do, truly. I think
probably do a video in the
Mello
future
and
at
Cena
some
would be a fun feud. So we'll definitely have to do some YouTube videos on it or something.
Yeah, maybe like we'll fantasy book John Cena's final year in WWE or something like that. But you guys let us know, who do you want to see as John Cena's final opponent for his final match, whenever that's going to be next year, likely later in the year. So let's move on to the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, because this one, again, was a lot of fun. I think both Money in the Bank ladder matches were kind of everything. At least for me, they were everything that like I want a Money in the Bank ladder match to be. There was a lot of really good, tough, high-impact spots, but then there was also like other shenanigans that kind of happened. It didn't just feel like hit a spot, get to the next spot. Like there was some other good stuff in there. Tiffany Stratton won. In case you didn't know, spoiler alert, it's Tiffy time officially. She's clocked in Miss Money in the Bank.
We need that Barbie pink briefcase immediately, dude.
Oh, it's coming.
The Barbie pink briefcase. I wouldn't be surprised if she has it already on SmackDown.
I mean, I'm trying to think, when did Priest get his purple one?
It was a while.
Was it?
Yeah, but the Tiff one is a lot more
merchandise.
Yeah, and it's a lot more obvious. Like, you know what I mean? Like there wasn't like it took a while, and they probably like put thought into it, like gave them Judgment Day, and it probably came after they were probably like they probably just hated the way that Damien looked carrying around that fucking green briefcase with like all the black and purple stuff. So yeah, unless it like unless it like looks okay with your stuff, that green really does stand out. So the white looks nice, but I just think there's so much merch opportunity, and I think it just makes way more sense for like Tiff to come up with the idea and do it, because Damien didn't even come up with the idea. They like gifted it to Damien. The Judgment Day like gifted it to Damien.
Yeah.
So like, I just think Tiff is gonna come out like this week. I literally think she might just be like out with the old,
throw it in the trash.
With the Tiff.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to do the pink briefcase. I think moving forward, we could
so much merch potential.
Oh yeah, I think that's what they could do, custom briefcases moving forward. I think that'd be a great idea.
Yeah, it seems like, and they should, man. Like they got the money to do it. Might as well. It looks better than the blue one, and then it's so much more. And then they'll make a bunch more money too, like just selling the custom ones. They had a custom one for like the city, like the Toronto one. So I'm assuming they'll probably start doing that like every year for the pay-per-view. But yeah, for me, this was my favorite match of the night. This match stole the show for me.
Agreed.
We had a spot at the very end where Chelsea Green looked like she might actually win this damn match, and then probably the only person who could have pushed her off and not gotten booed out of the stadium, Tiffany Stratton, pushed her off. Chelsea Green, MVP of this match. She was hilarious. The way she was setting up the ladder so slowly. And that bump alone makes her the MVP of this match.
Yeah, that was
she took
crazy.
It so clean, so perfect. She's a beast for that. And like I said, I think Tiff's probably the only person who could have done that and not gotten booed out of the building. So congratulations to Tiffy in the Bank.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that, I mean, Zoe Stark took a lot of nasty bumps as well. That green bump was crazy because usually when people get pushed off the ladder like that, they kind of will, like, fall on their side, like, you know, but she, like, just took it straight to the back. And we were talking about it after the match, but usually with, like, the tables, they kind of, like, break as soon as you touch them, and it almost looks and probably feels like there wasn't even a table there to begin with, and then you kind of just like eat shit on the ground. But that one looks like they didn't kind of like pre-cut it a little bit to help brace the fall, because if she would have taken that bump with like the tables being already pre-cut a little bit, then that would have been pretty gnarly, because that was high.
It looked gnarly regardless.
Yeah, that definitely feeling that one today.
Oh yeah. For sure. No doubt.
So when do you think, we'll get into a little early prediction here, how long do you think Tiffany holds this briefcase? I feel like it's going to be a while.
So do I. I think she holds a while. She gives me that vibe. She's gonna wait for the perfect opportunity, and she doesn't need to cash in yet. She's like, doesn't make sense, really, for her to cash in yet.
Yeah.
Story wise, and I think down the line, yeah, maybe before Mania, and then I think don't count this out. Early prediction. Tiff cashes in maybe at the Royal Rumble, or something, or before Mania, and then Charlotte wins
The Rumble.
the Rumble, and we get Charlotte versus Tiff, and Tiff goes over. But yeah, I think maybe they make Charlotte the first like 2-time Women's Rumble winner.
Yeah.
I think
it makes a lot of sense.
And I think if they hold her out till the Rumble, then people will be excited enough to have her back. Like, I don't think people will be upset about it.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I think that they got to kind of like give her, because she's already been out for a little while. Feels like forever.
Been out for a while. I mean, it was shortly before Mania, right? Maybe it was longer. No,
I think it was way before.
Yeah, way before that.
I think it was like
because
earlier in the year. Because
she came back and then like got hurt again, right?
I think it was like February or March she got hurt.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Because like the dates kind of lined up perfectly with her returning at next year's Rumble with when she got hurt. Because I think she was supposed to be out for like 8 to 10 months or something. Gotcha.
So she'll probably come back at Mania.
Yeah,
at Rumble.
Yeah, so you guys let us know, when do you think Tiffany Stratton is going to cash in? Do you like the call of throwing the briefcase on Tiff? I was rooting for Chelsea Green because I wanted her to kind of get a reward for all the great work she's been doing. Probably the best rehire that they've had in quite some time, and she's just been killing it recently. So, and obviously WWE thinks very highly of her because she's getting a ton of TV time and whatnot. So her time will come, and she'll get her fair share of success. And even her just appearing weekly on television is already having a lot of success. So let's move on, because we have a 6-man tag match. This was the main event. This got a lot of people talking. A lot of people wanted that Roman return. Well, you're still waiting on it.
Yeah. Do you think they put it as the main event to make people think that Roman was going to return?
Yes.
I hate the call to make it the main event. World title match should have been the main event.
Yeah.
Especially with that cash-in thing happening.
Yeah, it was definitely odd to not put
that would have been like
event.
A way better ending, I feel like. But I guess since Solo was... All right. It's probably... It's because Cody got pinned, though.
Yeah.
That's why it was the main event. But overall, I mean, what did you think of the match?
I thought it was pretty good. Again, another solid match. We
got the debut of Jacob Fatu.
I think Jacob Fatu looked well.
Yeah, Jacob Fatu looked good. Haven't even scratched the surface on what he's capable of.
Oh no.
Yeah, and so get ready for that. And now that he's debuted, we'll probably start to see him wrestle on like SmackDown and stuff, which is going to be.
I think that was like
sick.
We're going to give you a little taste, but we're not going to show our full hand.
I mean,
we have with Fatu.
You saw a few things like, dude, this dude hit a Whisper in the Wind like clean as hell. Just running Whisper in the Wind like.
Bro, he hit it perfectly too.
Guy's almost 300 pounds. Like, he's insane. Like, the fact that he's able to do that and make it look so easy, it's insane.
Yeah.
He's incredible. And Solo Sikoa pinned our WWE champion Mark, so it almost feels like a guarantee now that we're going to get Solo versus Roman Reigns. Excuse me. It almost feels like a guarantee now that we're going to get Solo Sikoa, new leader of this new version of the Bloodline, versus our WWE champion, Cody Rhodes, at SummerSlam. So, what do you think of that? And how do you think how do you think this story is going to play out with Cody and Solo?
So, I didn't think Roman was going to debut at Money in the Bank to begin with, really, because it felt like it was too quick after Paul Heyman got obliterated.
Yeah, agreed.
And so
do you think he returns with Heyman? Do you think when he comes back, Heyman is by his side?
Yeah.
It has to be, right?
Yeah. No doubt about it. And so I was always kind of picturing SummerSlam for his return.
Sorry. I'm already picturing it. I bet Heyman's going to walk out first. Like, it's going to be Heyman and the crowd's going to go nuts. And then, like, shortly after that, like a few steps behind him, Roman's going to walk. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be so awesome. It's going to be the biggest pop probably in history.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
When Roman returns. But here's the thing. The Bloodline looks strong, despite some shenanigans. But it wasn't anything like the ref got knocked down, and obviously refs are made of paper. But they got a good win. They got a strong win. Solo Sikoa got a much-needed pin because, like, this was essential to establishing the Bloodline as a serious and credible threat to anybody and everybody on the roster, especially for Solo Sikoa establishing himself as a threat and as a main event caliber wrestler. And for him to get the pin is massive for him in his career because he hasn't done much for, like, the main event in terms of, like, beating a lot of, like, top guys and really getting that main event, that top tier, that elite tier spotlight
for sure
on him.
Biggest moment of his career by far.
Yeah, and that sets up, you throw that on his resume, pins the WWE champ Cody Rhodes, you set up the match for SummerSlam. I'm fine with it. I didn't think it was going to happen because I didn't think they were going to want Cody to eat a pin like that. But I'm definitely not mad at it, and I think it makes a ton of sense. And I'm happy.
I mean, yeah, it wasn't clean. It was a lot of shenanigans. So it's not like he had anything close to a clean pin on the champ. But it feels like, do we get the Roman return at SummerSlam now, though? So is it... So this is my thought, right? Do you think it's like the Bloodline starts to get involved in the match, then maybe Randy and KO come out and get involved, and then whatever, the Bloodline starts to get the numbers, and then that's when Roman comes out? Do you think it's a thing where Roman shows up, like, before the bell even rings? Like,
I think it's post-match.
Okay. You think after the bell rings?
I think match is done. Cody gets the win. Both Cody's team and the Bloodline kind of interfere in the match. Cody gets the pin. And then post-match, they beat down Cody. Solo, like, still raises the title. And then Roman's music hits, carrying Paul Heyman in his arms down the entranceway. Because, like, I could see them doing it prior to the match or maybe during the match to kind of, like, help distract Solo.
Yeah.
For,
this
like,
is actually...
loses.
What do you think of this, right?
Lay it on me, big dog.
So, it's... You got the new version of the Bloodline, those four, right?
Of course.
And then you got Cody, Randy, KO. So, KO and Randy come out either after or shenanigans, ref goes down, something, whatever. And I think they even the odds or whatever like that. I think maybe a fight breaks out, they're starting it, but it's not quite even, obviously, because it's still 4-on-3. And then, I don't know exactly when or how, either like if it would happen right away or whatever, but at some point, Randy RKO's Cody.
Okay.
And walks out.
All right.
And everyone's like, oh my God, what the hell just happened? Like, you know what I mean? He RKO's like Cody or something, and then like maybe he like they're lining up and they're about to like attack, like they're face to face with him, and then he just like he RKO's Cody, and everyone's just like standing there so shocked, and then like they just all attack. The Bloodline all attacks Kevin Owens, and Randy just like walks out, right? Mm-hmm. So now it's 4-on-2. All right. And then Jey Uso comes out to even up the odds, or whatever. And then they're beating down on him, and then we get Jimmy to come out, and we finally get Jimmy trying to come out and help his brother. They're beating down on Jey, but still the numbers game, you know, so many bodies everywhere.
Numbers game. Classic.
Bloodline is standing tall. They got weapons. They got, I don't know, dude, who knows if they have another member at this point? Who even knows?
Who knows?
And then, of course, at the very end, that's when we get the... All right, anyway, Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I mean, I can get behind that.
The tribal chief. The real tribal chief.
Visually, I could see it. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I think it would be...
Maybe not all those bodies get involved. I just thought that's how you get Cody into the new feud with Randy. And then, so that's, you know, Cody's worried about other stuff. He's not worried about Solo anymore. And then Roman and Solo. But who knows, man?
Yeah,
there's a lot to go on. But
I could also see
SummerSlam feels like the time. I mean, SummerSlam is when SummerSlam is when Roman had his original return. To be when he first started the run as the tribal chief. So it feels like it's got to happen at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
but that should wrap up the episode, I think.
Yeah, that sure is. So you guys let us know in the comments, when you think Roman's going to return. I feel like SummerSlam, like we said, is going to be a good time.
Yeah.
You're going to want to make sure to follow us on all of our social media. You can follow us on X at The Burnt Hammer. Follow us on everything else at The Burning Hammer. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can listen to The Burning Hammer podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. And if you're listening to this, you can watch us on YouTube at The Burning Hammer. And if you are, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you're listening via audio streaming service, make sure to rate the show, leave us a review, follow, and subscribe, whatever it is that your platform does. With that being said, I'm Mark Izzo, he's Dillon O'Brien, and this has been another episode of the Burning Hammer podcast. We'll catch you next week.